Well, as a little boy, I used to do impressions of impressions on television. And my buddy Billy Russ and I used to get together as kids. We were only 8. We'd make lists of these different, people to do impressions of, movie stars, TV stars, politicians, whoever the impressionists of the day were doing. And then we just imitate other kids and sounds, at least I did. And then through school, got into theater, and somewhere down the line there was a calling, and it happened through taking a voiceover workshop after college. I had done some radio, television, film, a lot of theater in high school, and it was just an odd thing. I found that there was this ad for doing commercial workshops for voice acting, so I looked into it, and it just seemed like a good fit. Yeah, because I remember it like it was yesterday. I was working at a video store called Video Visions in Mayfield Heights, Ohio, at the Eastgate Shopping Plaza. And I'm behind the counter, and there was an advertisement in the local Cleveland newspaper. And I looked down, and there was a local newswoman, an anchor named Jan Jones. And it said, I saw her picture, so I knew her from the telly. As you'd say, the telly. As who would say, the telly? The Brits say the telly, eh? And so I looked at her, and I said, voice acting for commercials, broadcasting. And I said, voiceover. Well, yeah, let's try that. And it was that day that I took that one class in Beechwood, Ohio, from a guy named Gene Fallon. It had to be 30 years ago, or close, maybe 28 years ago. That's a good question. I don't know if I even have an answer for it. It's just something I developed over time, and the more I would do things, I feel like a recorder in my head. Even as I'm watching you and listening to you, I'm forming an image. And I think it started out with art, as I would draw and paint and copy, and my mind works the same way as a recording device. So I might be listening to someone speak, like a guy from New York, how you doing? I'm like, alright, how you doing? I'm pretty fucking good. You good? Yeah, I'm good. So it goes like that. That guy over there, hey? How are you? Yeah, good, right, oh. And maybe this one here, yeah, look at that. Right, yeah. Get away. You, get away. Crazy, nuts, like Christopher Walken said. You, me, wow. So just like that. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing from one moment to the next. Well, I practice it over time, and usually it develops at some point. Some of them are easier than others, and sometimes I'll be doing one impression and I'll notice that tonally something is similar. So then I might blend it. I'll give you an example. If you're doing Nicolas Cage, oh no, there must be a goal. They're watching a rugby game. Fuck! Fire! So he does that, right? And then all of a sudden, I can drop it down to like Keanu Reeves, right? Because Keanu Reeves back in the Bill and Ted days is kind of here. And actually then I'll segue maybe into Christopher Lloyd. Right, because Christopher Lloyd's here, and if you drop back down here, you've got Nicolas Cage. And if you go back up here, you've got Doc Brown. So, it's like an instrument, really. Right. Well, there's always a breakdown for the character, but yeah. Stuffed lion. I looked at the character, and I always imagined a voice, and I always assign a voice to an image, and whatever's illustrated before me, and then on top of whatever the background they give. And I can't even remember auditioning for that, but I know based on what I saw, I just thought he had an edge to him, and he was kind of pint-sized little bastard, and he said he was kind of perverted because he liked Rukia. Hi, Rukia. That's kind of creepy, but it's also, there's something endearing about this little bear who is in love, but doesn't know there's something creepy about him, From his point of view, Rukia, I love you, is sweet and innocent. It's only when he says, and I want to get inside your curtains.
Now, that could be filthy, depending on your mind.
Yeah, so it's almost like a perverted innocence to the character, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of there, and that must make it fun to play, because when you get the word, when you get the text, and you say something like, I like her melons.
Yes.
And you're thinking, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes it's as obvious as that. It depends, if they're actually melons in the shop, or, but yeah, it's anybody's guess. And sometimes, because they're interpreting it and they have to dub it, the writers take what was there and it doesn't quite translate, and then they create something else. So it's strange how it all gets sorted out.
And then you've got, from that spectrum, you go into video games where you're doing a Disney-themed video game in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
So then you've got to kind of rein that back, that kind of chaotic, perverted innocence character, and turn it into something more kind of... There's still an innocence there, because it's a game where it's kind of a group of children exploring worlds and fighting people that way.
Yeah.
So how do you then kind of channel that and still get the same performance, but more grounded? Less, I'm supposed to what I'm looking for, it's kind of less chaotic.
Yeah. Always less manic, less animated. It's, part of it is slowing down even as I'm taking in your question right now. And it's a bit more measured. And depending on, it's all moment to moment. Again, just like music. There's a certain je ne sais quoi. I don't know what to say. There's a certain element to drama that you just get, Before I talked to you earlier and I had said acting is acting is acting is acting. You just got this range, If you're on stage, it's huge. If you're on television, it's here. If you're in a film, it's here. And in voiceover, it can be any combination thereof to animate or bring to life a character. In Kingdom Hearts, it's a bit more real, and that character has to be real, so I'm directed to do less, and sometimes that's a challenge, but also if I'm working to picture like we do in Kingdom Hearts, then there's an incredible balance that goes on, and the rhythm, musically like we talked about before, comes into play when you have a certain time in which to dub a visual. And so you've got to not only make it time out, but you've got to get the acting beats in there at the same time, and the lip flap. So
it's a lot to consider, isn't it?
It is. So it's quite a challenge, and for those who do that kind of work, it's amazing. And those who, of course, do the post-production work on it, as well as the directors. I mean, it comes off without a hitch. I've seen what's been done with Kingdom Hearts, and the acting that happens between my character Axel and Jesse McCartney's Roxas. It's such a beautiful blend. There's such realism and it's so heartfelt for something that's surreal.
Yeah, it's kind of doing video games. It's more of a longer process, would you say, because there's more dialogue than there can be in an anime. In anime, you've got 22 minutes to film.
Yeah.
And in video game, you can have up to 40 hours of gameplay. So how do you kind of deal with the difference of times that you have to spend in the booth between the two?
That's a good question. Well, yeah, with the dubbing, you have to get in and get out for those 22-minute episodes. Like you said, some are longer than others depending on the script. And with the video games, depending on the character, you get to live with it longer. And there is a little bit more breathing room and time. And it's nice to be able to develop it, especially with a series like, the Metal Gear series, because they end up animating to us. So it's all about getting the right performance and not having to worry about timing, because that's what I like to do on the Natch. I love to make people laugh. I like to cut up and, take the piss, talk shit, whatever you like.
And some of the things you do, your impressions are spot on. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this, but how did you first discover, because you get Elmer Fudd, for example, for Robot Chicken, which is kind of things people wouldn't think.
That's right.
Home from Bleach, to Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd, whapping, yeah.
It's like, it's fantastic to hear that kind of a diversity in an actor, but do you ever think to yourself, wow, there's a role out there other than voice acting I'd like to do, and is it kind of which role do you think would be your ideal on-screen role if you could have it?
It's a great question. It may sound odd, but I think at this point what I'd like to play is someone close to me.
Yeah.
You know, because I've done all these voices for so many years, and through the years of acting and developing these skills, I've had to find more recently who Quinton Flynn is. Like, they go, who are you? We want your point of view. We want just you. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute, I can do all these other voices. Me? I don't know what I sound like. And yet, because of Axel, Leiden, and Reno, who are closer to my natural sound, I've heard it back, so I get to hear a bit more of what would be considered my voice print or type. And then I've heard people do impressions of me. So now I get a sense of what my natural voice sounds like.
Yeah.
And also because I do improv and stand-up and a lot of performance in these conventions, when I look back at something on YouTube, or I hear something, and I go, oh, there's that natural guy, there's that Quinton Flynn point of view, whatever that is, it's just me being honest and in the moment. And when that happens, sometimes I'll even surprise myself and go, well, that was funny. Like, just that guy was funny. He didn't have to do a voice.
Yeah.
And people are like, yeah, you're a funny guy. I'm like, really? Oh, all right, okay. So,
You say that's kind of almost the unassociated part of voice acting is that unassociated danger of voice acting is you can lose yourself in all these voices, and sometimes it can be a struggle to get out of it.
Sometimes, yes, indeed, because as I said, I developed that skill as a little boy and kept developing it over the years until getting to a certain point where it's like, well, now I can kind of put it on and take it off like a jacket, and I would like to kind of explore beyond that. And again, I think it's because of the balance of some of these latter roles for me, where I've gotten to be more honest and just more Quinton, that I'm enough. Oh my God, I'm enough.
And you had, because as Quinton, you've won for your voice acting work, you won with Ray, didn't you? You won a Video Games Award for that, didn't you? A voice acting.
Yes, the BTVA award.
So when you won that BTVA award, what was that like? Did that give kind of Quinton a sense of accomplishment and triumph that you've probably been looking for as an actor?
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, yeah, I was absolutely honored and thrilled and amazed because actually at the time we were recording that particular game, I was going through great difficulty in my life, and yet the one constant I have found is that in performance it gives me that escape and that comfort to be in a state that seems more natural to me than anything else. When I'm doing that, or even doing this, I'm in the moment. Sometimes when I'm not doing this, I'm out of my head. Thoughts going around, projecting, future tripping, memories of the past, and that can take me out of the now, which is, right here, right now, is the most important thing.
I think that's a principle of Buddhism as well, isn't it? To be in the moment more sometimes, to kind of catch yourself in that moment. And that's the thing, what more people need to do, because I think I'm the same as you, but sometimes I'll be thinking about the future and the past, and I don't think about what's going on in the moment, and live in the moment. But when you live the moment, if you're living the moment as Quinton, and there's one thing that you would love to do, not associated with any voices, what do you think that would be?
You mean living life or acting?
Just, it could be anything. You live in life generally. To unwind, what was one thing that Quinton would do if you could just do it and not have to worry about anything?
That was it.
Just have quiet.
But I love listening to music. I love spending time with family and friends. I love relaxing. Whether it's back home in Mayfield Village, Ohio, outside of Cleveland, or being here with you and seeing my cousins in Yorkshire. When I get to be around family, friends, new friends, and again, that connection
connection, that moment to moment, where we just get to be real, you know what I mean? And just get to be who we are, where it's comforting and it's fun, and we get to cut up, and we just get to laugh and just be. Like, that's the best thing in the world. I mean, that's really what life is all about.
And speaking of, well, I think you brought a pretty good handle on that. It sounds pretty convincing to me. Let's speak of something fun, it's something lighthearted.
Yeah.
The Yowie song.
The Yowie song.
How did that come about?
Well, Jeff Nimoy and I were doing conventions together, and it might have been our first convention we attended, and later in the day we thought, oh, it'd be nice to meet some women. So we went up to a fellow and we said, we don't know if there's a bar here. Where would we meet some ladies? And he said, in there, the Yowie room. He said, the what? What's Yowie? He said, oh, you'll find out. So Jeff and I went through these doors, and it was a dark, lit room. Looked through the dim light, we could see loads of women in chairs here, and they're looking at a screen, and we looked at the screen, and Yowie, male on male animated porn. That's when we looked at each other and said, yeah, okay, this is really not what we're looking for. We're looking for the ladies. Is this bizarre? And then the lights went on in the room. And we looked at the front, and this gentleman said, hey everybody, we got two special guests, Quinton Flynn and Jeff Nimoy, come on down. We went, no, we're not here for that, we're here for them. We came up to the front of the panel room and said, hi girls, great to meet you, and hey. We're like, we're here, but we're not here. We're here, but we're not queer. You know, it's like, we went outside, and as they're filing out, we're like, hey, we'd love to meet you. You want to chat? Like, yeah, well, you know, we got things to do. Like, you want to go to the bar? And like, we're interested in guys. We're guys. We're not gay. And that was the joke of the Yowie song, you know. The Yowie song, parentheses, we're not gay. And so it was a commentary on that experience because, you know, we had such a laugh about it. You know, these girls who saw us and they were saying, sure you're not gay.
And it seems to me like you were set up as a practical joke for going into that room. Someone had something that they're going to try and catch you out with. Because sending you into a Yowie room and you don't know, it's kind of almost a practical joke.
It was.
Maybe you should set a new, the devious way to get them back.
Yeah, you could be right, yeah. And it was a lot of fun, and I just, you know, it just kind of came out of nowhere. Jeff and I were talking about it, and we just thought, yeah, let's do the Yowie song. And in parentheses, we're not gay. And people get a huge kick out of it. And, you know, there's loads of views on YouTube, and someone actually put up the lyrics, so I'm honored.
It's becoming a karaoke thing now. People putting the lyrics up as well?
Yeah.
Anime fans, you know, you've spoken about these conventions and things. What is it like for you and the respect and the love that you show for your work? And video game fans too as well.
It's an honor, you know, and at the end of the day today, it's amazing how many people have filed in. Hundreds, you know, as I'm signing and talking to them and asking questions and listening. And when I hear their stories of how much what I do means to them, you know, I have to pause. I really have to pause to listen and take it in because it seems unusual to me. It seems odd. You know, I've been on the other side of the table where they are, meeting someone that I'm a fan of or inspired by or touched by. And somehow I find it difficult to believe that the work I've done inspires or touches in that way. But when I hear it, when I see it, you know, I must believe it because there's joy, there are tears, there are stories, and it's magnificent. So it actually gives me pause to stop and say, you know what you do matters, and it's a good thing, you know, and you are touching people. So, you know, be gentle with yourself. Don't dismiss what you do, because I think people in general, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but oftentimes, you know, we're harder on ourselves more than anybody else, and maybe second guess ourselves or what we're doing in life, and, you know, what everyone does matters, period, bottom line. And so, last night I had kind of a rough night, and I just thought, you know, I don't know what it's all about. And a day like today, when I meet some people who say, what you did made such a difference, I gotta believe it and think, I guess I'll keep on it.